Hola y bienvenidos a la unidad 34R, lección 1D, the personal A. Necesitas tu paquete de verbos comunes en el presente y tu cuaderno. Si no tienes todo, pausa el video y recoge lo que necesitas. Es una actividad pareja opcional. Learning target for this lesson, I can apply the personal A rule to the direct object of a sentence. El verbo de hoy es aprobar, which means to pass or to approve. Y la cita dice you can only choose one, excuses or progress. Which way do you want to go? So it's a good reminder, right? We can make up lots of excuses, but that doesn't help us move forward. Let's maintain a growth mindset and make some progress. Here we go. Okay, so up till now, we've been talking about making good sentences and that sentences have subjects and verbs, but often sentences also have objects, and we can have direct objects or indirect objects. So today we are going to talk about direct objects. A direct object is when, or is the thing or person that directly receives the action of the verb. So here are some ejemplos. Yo leo el libro. I read the book. So I is the subject, the action is reading, and the thing that is being read, the direct action, goes to the book. Tú ayudas a Mr. Flack. You help Mr. Flack. The subject is you, the action is helping, and the direct recipient of the help is Mr. Flack. Nosotros permitimos a los perros jugar. We permit the dogs to play. The subject is we, the action is permitting, and the direct recipient of the permission is the dogs. The dogs are the direct object. Okay, so we need to have that understanding to be able to determine whether or not we're going to use what's called la A personal, the personal A. The basic rule of the personal A is that an A precedes, goes in front of, the direct object, what we just learned to identify, when it is a person or a pet. Very important when it is a person or pet. So notice you are taking notes. You should be writing this down in your notebook. You can pause the video to keep up. So some examples. Entiendo a Carlos. I is the subject. Understand is the verb. The direct recipient of the understanding is Carlos. Carlos is a person, so we have to put the a in front. Entiendo a Carlos. Estoy viendo a mi hija jugar. The subject is I. The action is watching. The direct recipient of the watching is my daughter. My daughter is a person, so I have to put the personal a in front. A mi hija. ¿Recuerdas a tu tío? Do you remember your uncle? The subject is you. The action is remembering. The direct recipient of the remembrance is your uncle. So we have to put the a in front. A tu tío. Prometo a mi perra Candy que jugaremos. I promise my dog Candy that we will play. I is the subject. The action is promising. The direct recipient of the promise is my dog Candy. My dog Candy is a pet. Therefore, I have to put the a in front. A mi perra Candy. So with animals, be careful. Notice that it says a pet. Any other animal, we are not going to put the a. Only animals that we have in our house that we treat as family members, that they're part of our family. Okay, some other things that you are going to need to know. Again, you are taking notes. If you need to pause the video to keep up, absolutely do that. And then press play again to keep going. So when we make questions, we also have to put the personal a in front. So for example, ¿a quién crees que engañas? Who do you think you are fooling? Right? The recipient of the action would be who, a person. My response might be a nadie. I'm not fooling anybody, nobody. ¿A cuántas personas pagas? How many people are you paying? Do you pay? Pago a 5 personas. So the recipient of this action in the question is a person or a pet. So I have to put the a in front, and it goes in front of the question at the beginning of the sentence. So if you remember in our gustar unit, we were doing this, right? A ti te gusta, right? So the action of the liking was a person. So we had this out in front. A ti te gusta? Do you like it? Okay, some other things you need to know. Again, you're pausing the video to take notes if you need to. In Spanish, as in English, it's common to replace the names of people with pronouns. If that's the case, you still need to use a personal a as well. ¿Conoces a alguien? Do you know someone? We're not saying, do you conoces a Mike? ¿Conoces a Barbara? No. Do you know someone? That's a pronoun, but that pronoun is still a person. It's representing a person. We have to put that personal a. No tiene a nadie en el mundo. He has nobody in the world. So nadie is still the idea of a person, nobody. So we have to put the personal a. A couple of exceptions. So again, you're taking notes here. The verb tener doesn't need a personal a in general. So tengo dos hermanos. I have 2 brothers. ¿Tienes perro? Do you have a dog? Notice there's no personal a in these sentences. The verb haber, when we're using it for our to be verb, also does not need the personal I. Hay mucha gente en el estadio. There are a lot of people in the stadium. So here we have gente, those are people, but no dice a gente, right? We don't need it. ¿Cuántos alumnos hay en el salón? How many students are there in the classroom? We don't need the personal a. Hay 10 alumnos. There are 10 students. No personal a. So the verb tener and the verb haber in general do not need the personal a. Okay, vamos a practicar. We're going to practice. So I want you to, in your notebook, write the numbers 1 to 10, just in a list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to read through these sentences. You're going to write either correct or incorrect based on whether or not the sentences used the personal a or did not use the personal a accordingly, right? So remember, we're only using the personal a if the direct object is a person or a pet. So you're thinking about, did we put the personal a if we have a direct object that's a personal pet, a person or a pet? Or did we leave the personal out if it's not a person or a pet? Okay, here we go. ¿Conoces mi novia? Do you know my girlfriend? Is that correct or incorrect? Oigo los pájaros. I hear the birds. Tengo a 2 hijas. I have 2 daughters. Extraño mucho a España. I miss Spain a lot. ¿A quién le pagaste? Who did you pay? No ofendiste nadie. You didn't offend anybody. Llevé a Pluto al veterinario. I took Pluto to the vet. Tiene a su padre en el hospital. He has his father in the hospital. ¿Hay a alguien aquí? Is there somebody here or anybody here? Entiendo a mi hermano. I understand my brother. Pause the video if you need more time, and when you're ready, click play to get the answers. Okay. Answers. ¿Conoces mi novia? This is incorrect. We should have the personal a. ¿Conoces a mi novia? Oigo los pájaros. This is correct. Pájaros are animals in the wild. They're not pets. Although some people do have birds in their house. So if that was the case, then we would need oigo a los pájaros if they were my pets. But in general, birds out in the wild, no. Tengo a dos hijas. I have two daughters. This was incorrect because the verb tener does not need the personal a. Número 4. Extraño mucho a España. I miss Spain a lot. Spain is not a person or a pet. This is incorrect. We did not need the personal a. ¿A quién le pagaste? Who did you pay? This is correct. ¿Quién is a pronoun. It represents a person, so we do need the personal a in front of the question word. No ofendiste nadie. You didn't offend anybody. This is incorrect. Nadie is a pronoun. It represents a person. It is the direct object. We need a personal a in there. No ofendiste a nadie. Llevé a Pluto al veterinario. I took Pluto to the vet. This is correct. We needed the personal a because Pluto is the direct object and Pluto is a pet. Llevo a su padre al hospital. I take your father to the hospital. This is also correct. Your father is a person. It's the direct object, and we needed the personal a. Number 9, ¿hay a alguien aquí? Is there anybody here? We have the verb haber. The verb haber does not require the personal a. So this should just be ¿hay alguien aquí? And number 10, entiendo a mi hermano. I understand my brother. This is correct. My brother is the direct object. He is a person. I need the personal a. Okay, hopefully you did pretty well on that. Now's your chance to show me what you have learned. So you are going to translate these sentences. Use your verb sheet if you need some help. I gave you some extra vocab here in parentheses in case you needed it. Decide whether or not you need to put the personal a for the direct objects. Pause the video, write your sentences, and then press play when you're ready to check. Okay, you should have. Do you understand Mr. Fleck? Comprendes a Mr. Fleck. This Mr. Fleck represents a direct object here. He's a person, so you need the personal a. Número 2. Colón discovers America. Colón descubre America. America is not a person. It is a place. It's a thing. It does not require or does not get the personal a. I sell the car. Yo vendo el coche. Car is not a person or a pet. No personal a. We surprise our mom with a gift. Sorprendemos a nuestra mamá con un regalo. So our mom is the direct object. She's a person. We require the personal a in front. They promise Miguel. Ellos prometen a Miguel. So Miguel's the direct object. He's a person. We need the personal a. He writes a letter. Él escribe una carta. A carta is a thing. It's not a person or a pet. no personal a. And número 7, them girls go up the mountain. Ellas suben la montaña. So mountain, again, is not a person or a pet. No personal a. So I hope you did well. Make corrections to whatever you might have had challenges on and make note of your errors so you can improve for next time. Okay, that's it for our lesson. Make some flashcards. In this case, maybe put the personal on one side and put the rules on the back side and practice with that until you are sure what you need to do. We'll see you in the next lesson. Adios.